first time I saw you, time just started meandering a bit. Not really sure what to do next. There was something it was supposed to deliver, but nothing. That's when I looked at you the second time, and you looked back, so time didn't do anything. Other than running around in circles, doing your cartwheels on the grass, jumping jacks, until it collapsed to the ground, breathing heavy, because you had downcast your eyes. Time now, this slow motion, running action hero, arms outstretched to catch the falling infant moment, muscles tense, tension high, explosions in the background because you had raised your eyes again and smiled. Time now had this warm feeling around the chest region, tingling down the arm, content and excited, until time realized it was having a heart attack and needed urgent medical attention. I do miss time sometimes, but then again, you are still smiling at me. Thank you. So this set is all about love, because if you are in none of my poems, you were never in my heart. If you are in some of my poems, you will occupy a piece of my heart forever. If you're in all of my poems, I probably need you to give me back my heart. Thanks. So I said it's about love. It's also about laughter, which is somewhat off-brand. But it's all wrapped around a very on-brand dark heart. So speaking of hearts, I like you. I really like you. I like that you seem to like me back, you know. I like that baby kangaroo video you shared. So cute. I like that comic about all avocados being evil. I like that rallying cry against Brexit, Trump platforming, nationalist echo chamberism. And I really like that merry motivational meme on World Suicide Prevention Day. But I've stopped liking it. It's just not strong enough anymore. Almost meaningless. I now love everything. Because a red heart is worth at least 3 blue thumbs, I reckon. And that's more thumbs than I have. And when I say blue, I mean black, from hitting the hardened glass hard. And when I say red, I mean purple, from beating it up with thoughts I cannot control with words. Feelings too large to squeeze past my voice box, they fill up my chest, pressing all vital organs against the inside of my ribcage until they burst out of my fingertips. So I will love everything until I can't laugh anymore, and my heart is spent, and my fingers are tired and worn from the scrolling and the tapping. But wait, says the brain. I'm getting another oxytocin rush. Someone has liked you back. and suddenly it all seems worth it. The hard graft, the long hours in the dark room, curtains and bedsheets drawn, the calluses, the waiting, the spreadsheets tracking the like-for-like ratios, like an investment portfolio of bitcoins that you can only ever use to buy more bitcoins. But even if my purple heart is overdrawn, my black thumbs account is full, because I like you. I really like you. I like that you seem to like me back, you know, because you really seem like me, you know. Thank you. Speaking of love, 2 people I love are my children. This is called Proud. Car door slams shut. 2 seconds grace while I start the engine. What do you want to talk about today? Felix, 9, back seat. I reply, let me think. You seem now at ease with me living downstairs, while society shouts, you should be scared. Relationships change, there's no one to blame. Our family is strong and we love you the same. I love you, your sister, my friends, even mom. All different, not better. I share love as it comes. And if I ever meet someone new, they'll find I can love them just the same too. Changes are scary, sometimes a must. I am sometimes scared too. I'm not making this up. I'm in awe how you constantly offer your kindness. I was raised without tears, which turned feelings to silence. Now I've learned how to speak, can't stop saying I love you. And I try to live by that same kindness too. You said when you're older you prefer to like girls. I hope by that time either's fine in your world. Seconds later, you ask if I ever kissed boys. I should have burst out yes or not, swallowed my voice. Changes are scary, but sometimes I must. I am sometimes scared too. I'm not making this up. I'm opening up about all of these changes. Write poems, tell friends. There's no need to shame this. It means I'm less prone to be worried or sad. I can't wait till all this will have been a real chat. All I say out loud is, tell me about your football game. You can't see the tear I wipe away when I reply, wow, I'm really proud of you. One day, you'll say the same. Thank you. Right, so raising kids can be difficult. I also have a teenage daughter. You will never feel as powerless as the first time a stranger slaps your teenage daughter's bum, until you realize that you were the one who slipped the first time into that sentence. But then you see her thermite glare ignite, and you know any future tendrils of privilege touching phoenix feathers uninvited will be scattered like the ashes of a shameful past. You were never meant to wield this power. Thank you. Speaking of power, to the man at the swimming pool, you are a dandelion. Old teeth and predator and deep-rooted weeds spreading seeds across gardens you have no claim to. Only constrained by winds of whim, the broad netting of commandments, but not the cross stitched in your skin. The toxic orchard, women you covet toil every day, is not covered by laws of men. I understand the ancient tales much better now, when the knowledge held the promise and the blame, but the taste was bitterness either way. I believe there never was a snake, but the one between her legs, eager to feed. When you saw fit to anoint that woman in your vile-brand, soft, forbidden flesh, I could hear old scripture hiss. But this was no exodus. The smite was swift, there was no mercy. You hiss now death rattle for your privilege, your patriarchy. Condensing millennia of repression, her floods drowned expectations, deformed remaining ribs to a wry smile, petrified salt pillar because you chose the past. The screech of sin not sore enough to reach your teenage daughter on the flumes. Does she still worship you, your righteousness? Can you smell revelation on the looks you cast her peers? I have hope for that woman's seed splashing innocently at her side, infused by new strength in the water, washing away slither marks on the shore with the rising tide, free to enjoy the taste of her own fruit. Thank you. Speaking of the hope for the future, this is a message for my children. I should have told you sooner. I knew, they knew, really. It was just too big to fit into our mouth, our minds, our tiny little lives. The moment I grasped it, all emotions drained from my eyes. A few seconds of silence and then cold reality rushed back in, drowning everything. I keep dreaming of tsunami beaches. It's quiet now. The storm has passed. We know what's next. You will not get this message. Remember your training. Get to higher ground up north. Evade the raiders. The water's coming back now. We deserve this. I love you. Right, now on a lighter note. I said I have a teenage daughter. As a feminist father, that's sometimes difficult. Because this one goes out to the writers of the Demi Lovato and Bruno Mars songs of this world. Got my own hymn sheet here. Hey girl, by which I mean genuine, independent, resourceful libertarian. Can I call you she, her? Because it is important to me to use your preferred pronouns at all times. I adore the curves of your enlightenment because they're so well-rounded in their progressive reasoning. So bright, they make your eyes sparkle with celestial confidence, shining through the turbulence of the persistent belittlement of the upper atmosphere of the upper classes. Speaking of my eyes, I can't take mine of your low-cut tolerance for the inequality of the homeless and disabled, speaking up strongly for those silenced and subdued. Hot lips from serving searing truth to conservative powers perpetuated by immovable motives of worn-out white men. Oh, baby, raising is indeed a challenge in a society that's evolving from parochial constructs to a modern approach of familiarity units bonded by love, honesty, and mutual respect. I love the way you move, your position in the light of new evidence or a superior argument. Oh, I'm sorry, my mind got lost in that perfect smile simile of yours for the struggles of the 21st century LGBTQIA plus communities for all-encompassing acceptance. I'm in love with the shape of your sharp wit, the way you're detecting and opposing the oppressive as impressive as fuck. Let's go for a walk, the rest of the Pride Parade. You are the girl of my dreams, the ones where we live in an educated social democracy based on universal basic income without gender, sexual, racial prejudice. They feel so much more real with you in them. Why don't you come over to mine and we'll spend the night discussing how to best overthrow the patriarchy towards equal pay and representation. And yes, if it comes to it, I will be asking for clear consent. Sometimes I face those difficulties more on a personal level. This is called Observations on the Second Floor of a Popular Clothing Store. I'm browsing the wares in the market for a new pair of jeans. As I lift my gaze, it falls upon an anarchic slogan on the wall, written in fake graffiti. Forget the rules. If it makes you happy, wear it. Hell yeah, I reply in my head, thank you, inanimate wall and probably underpaid marketing designer. I will forget the rules. I will wear it if it makes me happy. With a spring in my step, I approach the jeans aisle and I'm stunned by and spoiled for choice. They have all the colors. From periwinkle to charcoal, and what's more, there are 22 neat piles of them. I get to choose between 20 piles of skinny and 2 piles of slim. I hear you. In between the piles is a chart that further details the subcategories, giving them male-sounding names identifiers. The chart says that Pete is super skinny, while Jay is more of a slim straight. I am grateful that my name is not in the chart. That would constitute a clear conflict of interest between my eyes and my thighs. I further take a moment to contemplate the irony that these skinny guys take up the most space in the story. But the chart gives hope. Rob is neither skinny nor slim, just straight. Another unfortunate naming confluence with probably unintended subtext by a probably bored marketing guy. I locate Rob, a couple of piles, not nearly as neat, tucked away at the end of the aisle, already plundered for all sizes larger than 34 inches, if they ever existed. I pick 2 pairs from the least disappointing color heap and head to the male changing rooms. We're beside the curtains, and I'm surprised that my mirrored face has been replaced with another 4 graffiti motivational battle cry. You don't need a mirror. You're a man. True story. I've got 2 more for you. These ones go out to the audience. First one is for anyone who maybe isn't feeling their strongest tonight. Some days are paper days. When I'm cut down at the ankles, losing touch with my roots, floating down a river outside of my control. Stripped of my protective shell, with every naked fiber on display, a soaked, rolled out, dried up, bleach pale copy of myself. My skin as rough as wood chip wallpaper, covering crumbling plaster backed by a hollow void. On paper days I feel flammable, drenched in fermented regret, wading through forests of matchstick memories, drenched for human contact, avoiding the warmth of an embrace, afraid of the chain reaction. On paper days, I wear my wetness close to the seeping surface, my patience polished paper thin, punctures by toothpick tragedies, tear open floodgates of fossilized fears. On paper days, I bend and bow from lightest touch or loosely stacked ambition, as easily disheveled as blown apart by whispered words. On paper, days like this in print, like any others, I eat, I work, I sleep, except my paper limbs are oddly heavy, my paper brain is crumpled up, and paper thoughts delivered by my paper tongue sound just like shredding, leaving my heart with paper cuts. But then, folding over, I pick my off-white body from the ground, and with great self-care and delicately I wrap myself in love. Highlight how much I've straightened out the paper trail I've left behind. As I edge closer to this light, I'm also projecting myself outwards. And even if that's just a shadow of myself, you'll see me, Roots Know, without the fancy cover. Thank you. Right. For my final piece, I'll bring it back all the way around to love and its addictive powers. So I was leaving the junction, and there's this guy shifting nervously, end of the street, eyeing up passers-by and scanning the beat. I get close, he clocks me from 10 meters off, his haunted look begging if I have the stuff. Recognitional glint, he quickly draws nearly, his close-shaking whispers into my ear. Hey man, I know you seem like the guy who could maybe supply me with a couple of lines. It's been 2 days since my last slam, and I'm running dry, all emotions feel hollow, I need another high. I knew this was coming, had I not been the same when I would have sold my soul to rewire my brain. I look around quickly, reply, listen here, reach into my backpack, past books by Aglia, eyes wide and was friendly, out craving the kick. I could tell he was well past the odd limerick. The high of haiku was short-lived at best, and when cut with rondeau, left his brain in a mess, likely dabbled in sonnets and similar stuff until metaphors were just not tortured enough. I shoot him some lines from my stash there, and then observe the relief on his face with a grin. There's just something in the oomph and battle of wits that only the slam of slam poetry hits. He pays by the stanza fresh, walk of world's wrongs. I watch him saunter off, still clicking along. I bag out that door, I get paid for my rhyme, and think, no wonder I chose the life of poetry. Thank you very much. My name is Matthias. You can find me under MME Poetry, or talk to me in the break. Thank you very much.